Hallelujah, we thank you for this day. Hallelujah. For this is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad. Yeah. Abba, I ask that you would just help us to come together on this day and make it all about you. Hallelujah.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom to all of you, my father's children.
Sing songs and worship and praise.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
For you are good and you're greatly to be praised.
It's a day that Yah has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Shalom, shalom. I see you all coming in from all over the world. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shabbat shalom. Where are we from? Put it in the chat on this holy Shabbat.
Help us to be mindful of that.
I know we're all over the world. Let me see who's in the room. All right, Donna's in the house. Ronnie, Ella, Vegas is in the house. Regina's in the house. Jeffrey's in the house. Hallelujah. Joanne, Christy, it's going fast now. It's hard to read. Brother Lewis in the house. Gabriel's in the house. Dietrich, Tanya's in the house. Costa Rica, Texas in the house. North Carolina, New Orleans, Florida. You in the house? I see you. You're cold. Glad to have you in the house. Sacramento, California in the house. Hallelujah. Nikki's in the house. Crystal, Charlotte. Rufus is in the house in Tennessee. Claremont, Florida's in the house. We give Abba Yah praise. Zion, look at this. Colorado, St. Louis, Texas, Connecticut's in the house. Abigail's in the house. Ronald, Elijah, Daniel, and Bob from Paris. Shalom and welcome in this room. Oh, yes. Kimberly from Mississippi. David from Maryland. I'm talking about in the house. Doyle's in the house. Southern California, Stockton, California in the house. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. This is the Holy Shabbat. So glad to be in the room with y'all. Who else is in the house? Tashamba's in the house. Shabbat shalom. Bill is in the house from Philly. Shabbat shalom. Is that Jamaica's in the house? Glad to have you. Florida, New York is in the house. Tennessee is in the house. That's when we say to the four corners of the earth. When we say that Yah is waking up his children worldwide. That's what we mean. And they still coming in the room on this holy Shabbat in less than 5 minutes. Almost 262 people, according to my count, in the house. What does that mean? It means that we woke up with our mind on Yah, on the Shabbat, that we understood that today is the day that he has made. This is our King's Day, set apart time, where we come together to give him praise, honor, and glory. Oh, yes, this is a day he has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, and we keep that fourth commandment that says to remember the Shabbat. Wait, hold on, Moray. The Christian church said, forget it. They said, we moved it. To what? We moved it to Sunday. So what you going to do about the Shabbat? Forget the Shabbat. Go out and party on the Shabbat. Have a good time on the, you can go to work on, do whatever you want to do on the Shabbat. Just make sure you get ready for Sunday morning. But ain't Sunday one. He said, remember the seventh day. Woo! Y'all have no idea how happy I am to be out of that religious, physical, and spiritual whorehouse. To be free from the laws and rules of mankind, self-made doctrine and self-made rules and self-made covenants and church covenants and self-made Sunday school books and self-made commentaries from Europeans that know nothing at all about our history, our culture, our language, or our people. We had to break free. And can I take credit? Oh, no. Oh, I don't even wish I could. I love being able to give Yah the praise. I love being able to give him all the glory. I love being able to say, I was in it, deeply involved in that, preached it and taught it. But hallelujah. Unto the least, talking about myself now, was his mercy and his grace poured out. And the scales fell off my eyes. Whoa, the wax rolled out my ears. The knots that was in my tongue was loosed. My heart got clean. Moved into his presence for the very first time. Fell on my face as one dead, I'm trying to tell you. Some of y'all in here know what I'm talking about. I'm not by myself. Weeping over my sins, crying, wiping, snotting. What's wrong with Moray? Just found out who he was. Just found out whose he was. Just found out he was in a covenant. Just found out that the laws, statutes, and the commandments have not been done away with, nor can they ever be. Just found out that we're Israel scattered. Leave him alone, he'll be all right. How long are you going to be down there weeping and wailing like that? I don't know, maybe 45 days, 50 days, a year, I don't know. I'm trying to tell y'all, Zion, start looking at the sin and the shame. And I'm still in awe. Because unlike most of you that's in this room right now, I was pastoring a Christian church. I wasn't just a member. I was the pastor. 21 years. They call it mega church out here in California. Now, it ain't mega compared to y'all in the South, but out here. I can't spend time on that right now. How did he talk to me? How did he break through all of the lies? How did he break through all the false doctrine and the false teaching? How did he do it? Because he planted a small seed of truth in my life long time ago. So that the whole time I was pastoring, even though I preached with conviction, I'm trying to tell y'all something. I still preached from conflict. Even though I was convicted and I preached with conviction, I was still conflicted. And the reason I was conflicted is because I was taught that the Bible was true and man was a lie. But then as you study, go through seminary and teachings and all that, they start teaching you that there's certain parts of the Bible that really are not clear, or you don't understand, or you shouldn't read, or above you. But I was one of those people who I had to read the whole thing. I had to always read it, and I had questions. And I wasn't finna deal with no cookie cutter answers. And maybe it was that little bit of truth and conviction that the Bible is true and let every man be a lie, including the man that's talking to me, including the preacher that's talking to me right now, including the professor, including the president, including I don't care if it's their pope, their papa, who, it don't matter who said it. The Bible said it. And eventually he chose to break in and break through. And I've given y'all my testimony so many times, but I'm going to say this. When he showed me the truth, I'm trying to help Israel right now. When he showed me the truth, I was at a point in my life, I want y'all to hear me, where I was almost just done with everything. When I say that, it's way too many people around me that was with me during that time who know how low I have been brought down. I went and got a job working at the winery, crushing grapes, running what they call a crusher. Brought down low. And I'm not talking about work is low. That's not my point. I'm talking about me as a person. Just my whole world was just brought down. And I said, I'm done. I'm just going to be happy and fulfilled to just share the truth with my family and close friends. That's it. Trying to tell you. And then here come the Ruach with the book. He said, here, take it. I said, yeah, I got it. He said, no. Eat it. I need you to eat the whole thing. Not just the New Testament. Not just, I need you to eat the whole thing. Man, that sound like what he told the other preachers and prophets. Yeah, them was your cousins. I had to make them eat it too. Yes, Ezekiel, yes. Jehoiakim, yes. All of your cousins. They all had to eat the book. And guess what you're going to do? Eat it. I started eating it and I started loving it. When I tell y'all I love his word and that my whole life was just lit up because I said, this is it. It tastes so good. But when it hit my belly, I started having a burden. I started feeling it toward my people. He said, no, you got to go preach again. I said, no. He said, oh, yeah. You have to go again. Who has to go? You. I'm giving y'all my testimony. I don't know why I'm prompted to do it. Maybe I'm just in one of them moods on this Holy Shabbat. We're going to get into the sermon. He said, you're going to have to go tell it again. Who going to listen to me? All the things I've been through, the struggles, the up, the down, the sin, the shame. all the preaching I did. Who gonna hear it now on this side? I said, that's not your problem. You need to go preach. To who? The whole world. No. I know y'all was watching me saying, oh, that's easy. No, at that time, wasn't no YouTube. You understand that? At that time, there was no live streaming. At that time, and he telling me, I'm gonna preach to the world, to the whole world. And I ain't got a church building. You're gonna preach to the world. And ain't nobody calling me for nary a revival, conference, workshop. And look, not only are they not calling, I ain't trying to go. I just wanted a hammock in my backyard. I just wanted a colorful drink in this hand while I just swing in my hammock. I'm gonna read my scripture every day. That's where I was. Under a shade tree, talking to my family, my kids and my grandchildren. Anybody drive up, I might say a word. I wasn't finna tell the whole, are y'all, you don't have to believe me. It don't matter whether you believe me or not. It's the truth. My wife and my children came to me and said, what Yah has given you, you have to preach it to the world. And I said, ain't nobody listening? But Yah had already told me. Before they came to me, Yah already told me, you got to preach again. You got to go back and testify and preach again to the world. Before they said anything, it had already been revealed to me in Revelation. That same word that went to Yohanan came to me. I already knew it, but they said it, and I was in denial. Oh, no. Why'd I have to share that? Because in less than 20 minutes, it's almost 500 people on the Holy Shabbat. And there will be another 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, maybe 100,000 more people will watch this video from this Holy Shabbat. And people have come out of darkness into the light. The kingdom of Yah. And the things that have happened since then, all of the world knowing who we are, and the explosion of internet and information and pictures and videos and films and books and research that's gone forth, lets me know nothing but Abba Yah, nothing but his grace toward us, nothing but his mercy, and nothing but the power of the Ruach in these last days to fulfill the scripture is the reason that we know that we're Israel. That's the only reason we even know that we are the covenant people of the book. That's the only reason why we make any sense out of the slave trade. That's how we know what this 400-year marker is all about. And all I can say is hallelujah. 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 And let me share with you preachers and teachers in the room that's always slipping in here from the Christian church. Let me talk to you just for one quick second. You cannot serve two masters. One of the first brothers I got close to when I came into this walk, I called him on the phone, texted him. I said, Jake, listen, man, I got so many questions. I don't I don't really know. I said, Kobe, you're going to have to help me. He said, what you need me to do? I said, I need you to speak to the congregation. You know what he said? Sure. When you get to your congregation, call me, put me on speakerphone. I haven't told this testimony in years. I'm going to tell it right now. We had a meeting. I said, look, y'all, this is where y'all leading me. And I want to show you something. I want you to hear this brother. I have never met him, just my friend online, but he's my brother. I said, I want you to listen to this. And I called him. He answered the phone. Shalom. Shalom, shalom. He said, I want you to listen. Y'all listen to me. He said, Moray, well, he called me, I think it was Yosh at that time. He said, I know he's your pastor, but you don't listen to your pastor. You listen to the word. And you try everything against the word. And if he is in the word, you follow. If he's not teaching and preaching according to the word, stop following it. That's what he said to the congregation. He said, you're waking up to the truth now. Fact check everything everybody tell you, including your pastor. When I hung up the phone, all I could say was hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And that became, listen to me, on this Holy Shabbat, I'm encouraging somebody. That became one of the characteristics, the identifying characteristics of my ministry to the world, my work in the kingdom. From that point forward, you know what I started doing? After every message, I would tell people, do not close your Bible. Do not turn off your cell phone. Do not put down your computer. Do not put down your iPad. I want you to keep your computer open, your iPads open, your cell phone open. And as I preach, fact check it. That's what started it. We're going to fact check it now. We in this thing together. And I'm a seer, but I better not be seeing something that's not in this Bible. And if it is wrong, we are what? We are first among equals, which means we can talk. And that's what I've been telling y'all. And you see it, even the administrators will say this in the room. Get out your Bible, get out your pencil, get out your pen, get some paper. Write down what he's saying. Check it out. Go to the websites. Go to the sources that he mentions. Even the administrators, 12 years later, we still carry the same spirit of information and teaching and instruction. We carry that same ruach right now to the world. And all I can say is hallelujah, hallelujah. And that's when he revealed to me that I was a seer and what that really meant. It don't mean fortune teller. Ain't no good luck charm. Ain't no crystal ball. Ain't nobody no more special. Not a king or ruler, none of that kind of stuff. No, that's not what a seer is. He said a seer is a person that reads the Bible, the whole thing, over and over again to see it. And then as I show them things, they show it. You show it, or the seers are supposed to show you the disciples, Israel, supposed to show you what I show them. I'm supposed to be making up stuff to help the people understand Torah. Now, I spent too much time in that, but I wanted to share something. I wanted you all to understand something. Today is another one of those days that we're going to see something that we've never seen before, or we've never seen it like this. He has shown it to me. And he showed it to me to show to you. He didn't show it to me to keep it to myself. If y'all understand that, matter of fact, I ain't even said this. If you in the room and you understand that, would you put a 7 First of all, just saying we're in the room. I'm in here almost 30 minutes, and I ain't even mentioned whether you could see me or hear me. Place a 7 in the chat, please. Let me see. Oh, yes. 7s is rolling. Hallelujah. 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 The 7s are rolling. Toda Rabah. Many of you understand that when Yah chooses a person, just like he chose me in this particular position, then this is what he's called me to do full time, to work, which we won't get all into that right now. But that also is not outside of Torah. When he organized the nation of Israel, he chose one of the tribes, which was the Levite, that they would occupy a particular place in the work. What would that be? Well, they wouldn't get, hundreds and thousands of acres of land. The Levites wouldn't get all of the property and everything like that every other tribe would get. Well, what do the Levites get? He said, well, you Levites, you better listen to me. You're going to work understanding this word and teaching and preaching. Okay, yeah, I get that. But what we going to do for a living? That's it. What do you mean that's it? The people are going to take a portion of, because I gave them land, I gave them jobs, I gave them houses, I gave them work. They're going to take a portion of that and bring it. I told them to bring 1/10 of whatever they make, so they can keep 90, and they all going to just bring 10%. And they're going to put it in, and when they give that 10, then you guys will eat off of that, and then also you're going to help the widows, help orphans, run the facilities, do everything you need to do. But that's it. So I'm like, so we have to depend on Are you trying to tell me that we got to depend on us's? They don't have to depend on. I got to depend on the people who say that we shouldn't even ask for offering. I got to depend on the people who say we shouldn't even bring a 10. Are you really saying that? I got to depend on the people who say, if God, this is what they use the word, if God called you, he gonna feed you. So you got to depend on them. What about this? Y'all called me. Yes, I'm depending on him, but y'all also called you, right? And in your calling, you're supposed to give. And I'm supposed to preach. And guess what I got to do? Whatever you give, I got to take 1/10 of that, and I got to give too. And where do you give, Moray? Into the kingdom. Same place you give. Woo! And let me tell y'all something. Woo! Toda Rabah for some of you all who understand your work and your place in the kingdom. I understand my place. But I know that if you don't give and support the work, there's no way. There's how? How are we going to have full-time staff? How am I going to pay them? How are we going to travel? As expensive as travel is today, how are we going to do that without you? How can we hold workshops that cost $5,000, $10,000 to put on? If I don't say, hey, y'all, support the work. I wish I had. Sometimes I do, but no, then I think I don't, because I don't want nobody trying to hold that over me. But sometimes I wish I had, a couple of billionaires that say, hey, Moray, man, don't worry about all that, man. Look, what you need? $1 million a year? No problem. Give you $1 million a year. You run the ark the way you need to run it. I wish I was true. Once a year, I get cut a check for $1 million. I had to worry about no hotels and gas and all that. We could make that work. $1 million a year is enough to make it work. We could make it work. We could hire enough staff, take care of. Yeah, I wish we did have an underwriter like that, who also didn't say, oh, and by the way, when I give you this $1 million, don't be talking about this, that, or the other. When I give you this million, don't be preaching about this, that, and the other. Because right then, he going to get a check tore up in his face. Because that's the one thing about the Moray that ain't for sale. This ain't for sale. You ain't finna buy my voice. No, that's all I am is a voice. So if that's your attitude, then no, you don't have to keep it. I'll be all right. I'll just keep, we will just keep surviving off of the faithful that's in the room even right today. Supporting this work, all I can say, if you follow the ministry, it's helping you, it's encouraging you, support it. And I'm going to also say that pray about not only giving it, supporting with tithes and offerings, but some of you all can actually put us as a part of your regular giving, just regular. Oh yeah, I'm gonna support the work of the art. I believe in what they're doing. I believe in what's happening here. And the ark is actually helping to give birth to a lot of other works around the world and fellowships. And all I can say, like I said, I will never know the extent of it, but I do know one thing. If we had anything to do with it, all praise and honor and glory is going to be to our King, Yahushua Hamashiach. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Been in the room a long time, y'all. But I just wanted to share that testimony because I'm excited about the message today. Revelation chapter 20. And we're going to start at verse 7. And we're going to look at the final battle. What final battle? The final battle. We're going to see Gog and Magog exposed to the whole world who they really are. And what does that do for us? It tells us now that if we are a part of Gog and Magog now, you need to hurry up and get out of there because their end is already foretold in Scripture. They're defeated. They are ultimately killed, wiped out forever. So who wins? We win. What are you talking about? I said we win. If y'all get that, put a 12 in here for the 12 tribes of Israel, please. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's worship and giving. And as always, I want to pray for the house of Israel. We want to listen to a song as we meditate and humble ourselves before his mighty hand and prepare our hearts to receive what he has and to prepare our hearts to give toward the work. Abba Yah, Todah Rabbah for this holy Shabbat, Todah Rabbah for allowing us to gather together in your holy name, Yahuwah, under the power of our King, the visible image of the invisible Yahuwah, Yahushua Hamashiach. According to your word, you have blessings for your people. that you think about us and that your thoughts about us even today are good. Your word said you have purpose for us, and your purpose for us is good. You alone are our healer. You are the balm in Gilead. And we are a nation who need healing. Physical healing. We need to be healed mentally. We need emotional healing. We need sociological healing. We are people in need of you. Have compassion on us like you had compassion on the 5,000 when you took 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, broke it and blessed it, and multiplied it and fed everyone until there was over 12 baskets left over. We need you to do that for us here in the land of our captors. Make us good stewards of what you give us. Multiply it and bless it, and satisfy your people with good things. I pray where there is sadness, you put joy. Where there is defeat, you put victory. Where there is weakness, you put strength. Where there is hate, you will put love. When there is anger and frustration, you put forgiveness. Wash us where we're dirty. Iron us where we're wrinkled. And present us back to yourself as a glorious bride. Open our eyes to the truth that we can see you. Open our ears so we can hear you. And open our hearts so we can know you. And help us to fulfill our true purpose on this planet. The light of the world and the salt of the earth. And men might see our good works and glorify you who is in heaven. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Speak to my heart, yeah. I need you to speak to my heart. Speak to me, my heart, yeah. Speak to my heart. I need you. Speak to my heart, yeah. Speak to me. Speak to me. Speak to my heart, yeah. Speak to my heart. Speak to my heart, yeah. Yeah, yeah, speak to my heart, yeah, 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 speak to my heart, yeah, 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 speak to my heart, speak to my heart, speak to my heart, yeah, 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 speak to my heart, yeah, 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 speak to my heart, yeah, 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 speak to my heart, speak to my heart. Sitting in my quiet place, I need you, yeah, to feel this space. With your ruach full of love and so much joy, joy. See, I've been going through some things, heartache seem, need endurance to run this race. And I refuse you to seek your face. Yeah,
Sang,
I
Tree.
need you to. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Yeah, I need you to speak to my heart. Speak to me. 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 Speak to my heart.
Woo. Hallelujah. 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 That's what we need. We need Abaya to speak to our hearts. I had some more things I was going to say, but because of the time, I want to get into the message. We'll do another video talking about some of these current events. I want to get into the message. The book of the Revelation, chapter 20. And for those of you who support this ministry, thank you. That prayed and gave and are planning to give, thank you. From the bottom of our heart, Tona Rama. Revelation, the book of the Revelation, chapter 20, verse 7. Now, I'm reading out of the King James Version of the Bible. Later on in the message, I'm going to read out of another version. It's going to be the New Living Translation. And some of y'all have that. If you don't, you can look at it on the computer, on your phone while I'm reading. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because covering a large passage of scripture, sometimes some of the newer translations make the readability a little better. So I chose to do that because it reads well about concerning what I want to talk about. So if you can find that on a computer, if you have one of those Bibles, get it. If you have a cell phone, you can just look up New Living Translation, PDF, or online copy or whatever, and you'll be able to still follow along with us. So that people will ask, what version is he reading out of? I'm telling you now, it's primarily going to be coming out of the when I get to this other passage, is going to come out of the New Living Translation. But I'm going to read out of the King James right now. Revelation, chapter 20, verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Who is that? Gog and Magog. Well, what you going to do? To gather them together to battle. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea. If you all saw that with your own eyes, put an 8 for verse 8 in this chat, please. He says Satan gonna be loosed out. In other words, I'm gonna let him out. And when he gets out, he's gonna violate his parole. He's gonna go about looking for Gog and Magog. And at this time, they will be scattered. Where? Where will they be? In the four corners of the earth. We're going to get to that in a minute. Gog and Magog, you shall be exposed today if y'all let me keep breathing. Verse 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints. Wait, what did you just say? Yehochanan, what did you say, cuz? He said, Hasatan, when he's loose, he's going straight to Gog. When he get loose, he going straight to Gog and Magog. Well, what is he going to do with them? What's going on? What are you talking about? Yeah, after he's been locked down for 1,000 years, and after we have reigned with Hamashiach and ruled with Hamashiach and judged with Hamashiach 1,000 years and have set everything in order. After 1,000 years, 1,000 years of shalom, 1,000 years of the mountains growing trees, fruit trees, and bearing fruit. 1,000 years of our vines producing fat grapes. 1,000 years. Our rivers, once again, running full of water. 1,000 years. The fig tree blossoming and putting on fat leaves and big figs. 1,000 years. Everybody got their own house. I'm talking about Israel now, the remnant. And their land restored. 1,000 years. No wars. Not even no rumors of war. Why? Because every time we hear it. Did they say that? What did they? Bring them in the court. Bring them in the court. Man, so-and-so talking about he ain't coming to the Feast of Passover. He ain't coming to Sukkot. He ain't coming to Sukkot. Bring him in here. Bring him in here. Bring him in here. Come on, y'all. Sit in the front. No rain. No rain. You heard me. No rain. No rain. Now try it again. No. What do you mean if we don't get? You already know the rules. 1,000 years. Everybody attending all the feast days for 1,000 years. Ain't gonna be nary a Santa Claus. Ain't gonna be no half animal, half men shooting arrows of lust and somebody else's wife or somebody else's husband and sneaky linking and carrying on. Oh, no, no. 1,000 years. We ain't gonna have that in the kingdom. We're gonna be operating according to the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the most high. Yeah, he will be the king, and we will rule with him. And listen to me, you whoremongers and you warmongers. All of the weapons of war, we already read it, will be turned into agricultural tools. Well, I had a good time not too long ago in my study. I was going through all of the weapons of war that this European has made. And when I tell you he's the king of killing, y'all have no idea. You have no idea. That European, when they say no one can make war with the beast, please understand something. You ain't got a chance. Listen to me, Israel. We got some crazy brown people telling you that you're going to have to pick up arms and fight. And I need to warn you right now, Israel. You will be killed deader than dead. You can't whoop this one. This beast right here, you can't make war against him. His weapons of war is so beyond you. He's fighting now with drone mosquitoes. Now, nary one of y'all got a drone mosquito that can kill nobody. While you in there plotting about how you gonna go get a gun, soon as you open your door, the mosquito fly in and hit you in the neck. You think it's just a mosquito bite, and then you drop dead. You better stop it. You're not no match. What you think is a snake is a drone. What you think is a dog barking is a drone with a machine gun tied to his back. You ain't got a chance. I'm trying to tell you. What you think is a bee? What you think is a wasp? I know some of y'all don't believe me, but I already told you, keep your computers open, right? Google it. Yeah, we're going to have to. They can see you through your wall. Don't you understand that? When you go, y'all can't fight this beast. You're trying to get in your house and plan strategy when they can listen inside of your house from miles and miles and miles and miles away. Y'all don't know that? They can do that. Like, they can really do it. Matter of fact, they are doing it. That's not my sermon today. I just want to say there is going to come a time, though, in the kingdom of Shalom, all them weapons of war, from the biggest battleships, submarines, aircraft carriers, stealth bombers, F-10, 20, 30, I don't know what their fighters at now. They might be in the hundreds. It doesn't matter. In that day, the king is going to order all of it. All the way down to everybody's little rusty 22. It will be melted down and turned into either a rake or a shovel or a plow or something agricultural, and you will, for the first time, see all them tools and energy that was used for killing. It will now be used for the sustaining of life. For 1,000 years. 1,000 years. They're going to be in the fields. Mm-hmm. And you would think that watching the world being put in a position or in its proper place, which is a world of peace and world of shalom, for crime is dealt with immediately and wiped out, and our children are free to walk the streets. There won't even be, let me tell you how much shalom it is. There's so much shalom in the kingdom for that 1,000 years. Yah is not even going to allow violence to be a part of the animal kingdom. Ain't that something? During the millennium, he's going to get rid of violence so much that even the wolf won't be able to eat a sheep. A wolf can't eat a sheep. A wolf can't get no lamb chops. No, wolf. 1,000 years, man. My sheep been leave them alone. The bear be chilling. The lion. I preached that already, y'all know. Which means you can go anywhere you want to now. Kids don't have to worry about no mosquito bites. Those of you in Texas, you ain't got to worry about no fire ants. There ain't gonna be none of that no more. No more snakes. Those of you in Louisiana and those of you in in Florida, you can go anywhere you want. No alligators, crocodiles, nothing bothering you now for 1,000 years. Now, the reason why I mention this is because I need you to see that the earth will be turned into paradise while the deceiver, Satan, is locked, is in prison. So after the 1,000 years and all of the gold, I'm preaching. I can't get too far ahead of myself. And all of the gold is returned to Israel. That's the people, us, into the promised land, which is from the Nile to the Euphrates and the Tigris. When all the gold that have been stolen from that area is brought back, it will be brought back. All of our artifacts will be brought back. All of our menorahs will be brought back. All of our scrolls will be brought back. All the people, talk Moray, will be brought back into the land, dwelling in safety, dwelling in peace, dwelling in shalom, never to study war no more, never to fear from the enemy ever again, never to have to shed tears of sorrow, heartaches of pain, never. 1,000 years. No more vexing them. No more calling them nickels. No more scum of the earth. No more dirty dogs. No more nickel jokes. 1,000 years. No more people walking around in the store when you try to go get a little something, talking about, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Hey, and your kids need to put their backpacks over there and they need to take their shoes off too because them little necklaces. Oh no, ain't gonna be no more of that ever. Forget that. 1,000 years, no gang banging. 1,000 years. 1,000 years, we free. Go anywhere we want, say what we want. King is ruling. It'll be 1,000 years of perfect, as much as possible, of perfect shalom. And then Hasatan, I'm watching my time, and Hasatan is then let out. So where does he go? He goes to Gog. And who else? He goes to the ends of the world. Magog. To do what? He's going to talk to Gog and Magog about a coup. He's going to talk to Gog and Magog about whooping Hamashiach. and destroying Israel and destroying us and taking our land and taking our stuff once again. Now, I know many of you in the room are saying, Moray, come on. It's true. Moray, is that the truth? Yes, it's true. I'm going to prove it. Man, no, that was just a vision that John had. No, it wasn't just a vision that John had. Yah showed Ezekiel. Watch this. Watch. Please listen to the Moray, because when I get there, you're going to see it. Yah showed John what Ezekiel, Yah showed John what Ezekiel said. And then, but Ezekiel, Isaiah showed Ezekiel, who then showed John. King David showed Isaiah, who showed Ezekiel, who then showed John. Moses showed King David, who then showed Isaiah, who then showed Ezekiel, who then showed John. Talk more, Ray. Okay, I'm going to finish it. Abraham told Isaac. Isaac told Jacob. Jacob told his sons. His sons told Moses. Moses told David. David told Isaiah. Isaiah told all the other prophets. One of them prophets was Ezekiel. Then Ezekiel is the one who told John. Then John wrote it down and told us. No, Moray. Oh, you better understand what the Moray is saying. If you think that this concept starts here, you don't know the Bible. And the confusion over Gog and Magog, the more I read it, the more I understand is a made-up confusion. And it's made up, the confusion about who Gog and Magog is made up by Gog and Magog. No, more. You better believe it. That's where we're going today. If you're rolling with the Moray up until this point, would you please place a 100 in this chat, please? But place a 100. When I'm telling you, Abraham saw it first. He told Isaac, Jacob. Jacob passed it to his sons. Coming out of captivity in Egypt, they told of course, Moses got it. Moses told the people, and of course, David prophesied about it. King David, in his prophecies, laid out what was going to happen concerning us. Isaiah saw it. Isaiah preached it. Moray, are you telling me? I'm trying to share it to you. Ezekiel got it. And each time, and I'm not going to have time to go through all these, but I wish I did. But each time a prophet received the prophecy, more revelation of the prophecy was revealed. Does that make sense? If that makes sense to you, put a 500 in the chat. In other words, you saw some of it with Abraham. And then we saw some more when Moses got it and talked about the same thing Abraham talked about. And then when David talked about it, we got a little more insight. And then when Isaiah talked about it, we got a little more. When Ezekiel talked about it, we almost got it all. And then, of course, I'm going to get to Hamashiach in a moment. because you know he's our greatest prophet and preacher ever, right? So everything rise and fall on him. So we understand that it's all about him. But for now, I'm just saying how it was passed down from our prophets. So that when Yehochanan is on the Isle of Patmos, really, to be honest, it's Yehochanan. I mean, it's Yahushua that is revealing this to who? To Yehochanan. And then all these years later, I read it. I'm like, oh, okay, I can see this. And he said, okay, now you tell it to the people today. We don't have to make up nothing. Before I came in the room, y'all, and my chat done disappeared again. I see how they do with me. I don't know why they're doing it. They just keep making my whole chat room just disappear. Before I came in the room, I was in meditation, and I said, no wonder they told us that the Old Testament been done away. No wonder they told you you ain't got to read it. No wonder they told you. Can you believe I'm way out here in the country and they out here making noise with cars? All I'm trying to preach the gospel. That's all right. How's the time? I don't blame you. You don't want it to be revealed who your people are that you're gonna use in the last day. That's all right. We're gonna do it anyway. We can get by that little noise. I have no idea what they're doing out there. But maybe some of y'all can hear it on the. Oh, that's a shame. All right. Jazz, Drika. Unbelievable, huh? I'm in the country. They just chose to come right by the window. That's all right. We're going to go forward with this anyway. So when Hasatan is let out, he's going to go out to deceive the nations that are in the four corners of the earth, and he's telling you who they are so that we don't ever have to wonder who they are. And I want to show you. So what I want you to do, if you're taking notes today, by the way, the title of this sermon is The Final Battle. I said the final battle. Gog and Magog, which I got to explain who that is finally destroyed. Finally. Because it says in verse 9, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints. That is the Holy Land. That's the promised land. That's where we are now dwelling safely, right? And encompass the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. What is that? Holy Jerusalem. And fire. Wait, what? Fire. No. Fire. What happened? Fire came down. Fire. I thought fire went up. He said, no. At this last war, fire coming down. From who? Yah. Moray, are you kidding me? No, it's in the Bible. They just they don't want you to read this. Why they tell you you can't read the Revelation, it's scary, and the Old Testament been done away with? Oh, they don't want you to know that fire comes down from Yah out of heaven and does what? And devours them, which means kills them. It's over. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. So he joins who? The devil. Where the beast, I've preached too many sermons on that. I've explained that and exposed it. European Union. And the false prophet, the European government, shall be tormented. These are the people that participated in those. How long? Day and night, forever and ever. That's the Bible. That's verse 10. Matter of fact, so the whole world could see it, put verse 10 in the chat. He just making that up. No, this is education purposes. I'm just teaching you what the Bible teaches. Put 10 in the chat. And let's prove some things. Biblical calisthenics. We're going to exercise now. I read to you all Ezekiel 36 in its entirety. We read it and preached it. We read and preached to you Ezekiel 37, dry bones and the two sticks. Today, I want to read to you Ezekiel 38 and 39. So go get Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, and this is where I want to read it in the New Living Translation. And I could have picked any translation that is more common. I just picked this one because this one is going to expose some things about these so-called Protestants, good old Southern Baptists and others that act like they don't know. When you ever ask them, well, who's Gog? Who's Magog? Who's this? How's the thing on the end? And I was like, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, nobody really knows. You a lie. Because in your translation, you tell it. Y'all's going to show it to us anyway. Ezekiel 38, reading out of the New Living Translation. If y'all ready to roll, put a 1,000 in this chat, please. If y'all ready to roll, and see Gog and Magog for yourself. Don't have to listen to no Europeans come talking about what it is and what it ain't no more. We're going to see it for ourselves. Go to Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And again, it doesn't matter what translation. I just chose this one for this Shabbat. And look at them 1,000. Them 1,000 is coming in here from all over the world. I don't blame you. I want to see it too. This is how they say it. Ezekiel said, the word of Yah came unto me. They say it like this. This is another message that came to me from Yahuwah. For real. What did Yah say to you? Son of man. I'm talking about Ezekiel talking now. This is what Yah said to Zeke. Son of man. Turn and face Gog of the land of Magog. I want you to understand that. That is proper. That's the proper translation. Face Gog, and it should say of the land of Magog. I'm highlighting that for you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hold this so somebody might be able to screenshot. I don't know if you can see it though, if it's going to focus, if you don't have this translation. Can I help my people? This is educational. Turn your face. Turn and face Gog of the land of Magog. So the land of Magog is a territory. So remember in scripture, oftentimes a land, which is called a land or a territory, and the people of the land are synonymous. Do you get that? If you understand what I just said, synonymous, it means alike. That oftentimes in the Bible, the way we wrote is that if we call forth a land, we weren't talking necessarily about just dirt, but we were talking about the people of that land. If you understand that, would you please, where we at? Put a 10,000 in the chat. We're just going to keep moving. Put a 10,000. This is important. So if we're talking about, if you say, I'm preaching to the Canaanite or to Canaan, so that means that you're talking about who? The Canaanites, right? If you're dealing with the islands of the Gentiles, we're not talking about just dirt. We're talking about the people that are on those islands. When we talk about Israel, we're not just talking about dirt. We're talking about Israelites, the people. So we have here Gog and the land of Magog, means these are the people that Gog rules over. And right here in the translation is why I use this one. The prince who rules over the nations of, so Gog of the land of Magog is the prince that rules over Meshach and Tubal. Listen to that. Listen to all that information that these heathens are trying to tell us they don't know. They're trying to act like they don't know who Gog is. They try to act like they don't know who Magog is. They act like they don't know who they rule over. When the Bible says Gog from Magog is ruling over Meshach and Tubal. He said, prophesy to him. Prophesy against him. Before we take another step in this revelation, you need to understand just a very simple timeline. Ezekiel, the preacher here, is in a captivity already. He's in Babylon. So he cannot be talking about the Babylonian captivity. Notice that Yah didn't tell him, turn your face toward Babylon. Turn and face Babylon. He didn't say that. He said, turn, even though you're in Babylon, you've been captive in Babylon, I need you to turn your face to Gog. Why? Because I need to talk to them about the last days, and I'm going to prove it. Give him this message from the sovereign Yahuwah. Gog, I am, this is from Yah, I am your enemy. Verse 3. Gog, I'm your enemy. Oh, you think you got it. You think you all that because you can fight this and fight that. And you got weapons of mass destruction and blah, blah, blah. but I'm your enemy. I'm going to turn you around. You going to do what? Uh-huh. I'm going to turn you around and put hooks in your jaws. Do you understand that picture? Gog is out here acting like he all of that. We're number one. We're number one. He said, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to put a hook in your jaw. And what I'm going to do? To lead you out with your whole army. What? Mm-hmm. I'm going to lead you, your army, your horses, your charioteers in full armor, and a great horde armed with shields and sword. Listen, Persia, you gonna be with them. Ethiopia, you gonna be with them. And Libya will join you too. What? Moray, is that in the Bible? Yeah, they never showed it to you. Why is it important that you see Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya? Hamite. Verse 6. Gomer and all its armies will also join you. Gomer? Who's that? We don't see. Along with the armies of Beth Togarmah from the distant north. And then watch this. And many others. Do you see it? I'll highlight it for you. And many others. Nobody knows who Gog and Magog is. It's such a great mystery. Nobody ever know. You're a lie. You liar. Why is it that every time the European touch our book, and let me tell you something, even got so-called Negro preachers preaching this to their congregations, that nobody knows who this is. You are a liar. Stop that. And I'm here to expose it. Why? Because that's my job. I'm going to show you. First of all, we got names here. We got places. Oh, my time. That's all right. I'm already feeling good like a Hebrew should. Woke up today, joy bells ringing in my soul. That I get a chance to show the house of Israel the truth one more time. This is a good time in the lesson to do some research. Moray, what you mean? What I mean is, get your pencil out, get your pen and your paper. We're going to let the world know. This message is going to South Africa, Ethiopia. It's going to Cheerio, England, the UK, Russia. This message is going on all over the world today. Let's start with the very first person that he mentions here. And who is that? Let's start with Gog. Who is Gog? What we learn from the New Living Translation, as well as our own study, is that Gog is a prince or a king. There's only two people in the Bible that have the name Gog, which is Gimel, Vav, Gimel. One of them is obviously a descendant of the house of Israel, and that's not who he's talking about here. The other one is a prince or a king. Teach the house of Israel Moray. It's my job. So Gog is the name of the king or the prince of who? Magog. So Europe, I'll just get to that real quick, and the Europeans will have a world leader at this time. And this leader of the Gentile nations, I'm going to prove it in a second, is who this prophecy is directed to. So Gog is the prince of Magog. So what's the very next thing we got to do? We got to find out who is Magog. Now remember when I told you that Ezekiel didn't just pick this up off the top of his head. He got Magog from somewhere else. Where did he get the word Magog? Where did he get Gog and Magog? Let us go to our table of nations. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. Genesis. No, Moray, we going to, I said Genesis. Go to Genesis. Where are we going? Genesis, the first book of the Bible. Moray, you can't tell me that Gog and Magog, that's in Revelation, is also in Genesis. Genesis chapter 10. Come on, go with me. Genesis chapter 10. Yes, it's in there. Genesis chapter 10. Where I want to start? Verse 1. Administrators, would you please put this in the chat so the whole world can see this? Oh, and yes, we believe the Old Testament and the New Testament. We don't believe nothing has been done away with, you heathen, lying, religious buffoons. You ecclesiastical clowns. You pseudo-religionists. And you workers of the darkness, of the powers of darkness of this age. We are bringing the light of Torah to an awakening people. Ain't nothing you can do about it. They're going to see those that are in darkness have seen a great light. That's the scripture. Blind eyes are going to open. Deaf ears going to hear. We're going to see it in a way we've never seen it and put it together to make sense of everything and understand how this whole world winds up. Look at it. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah. Get it straight. Noah only had 3 sons. So that means the whole world has been repopulated by these 3 sons and their wives. We get their names: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were born sons after the flood. All of those sons had sons. Let's expose it. Let's show the world. The son, put verse 2 in the chat, please. Everybody put a 2 in the chat. Let me wait for everybody to catch up. Put a 2 for Genesis 10 and 2. Put a 2 in the chat. The sons of Japheth. Let me highlight that in my Bible, because some of y'all gonna think I'm making this up. Y'all see it? It's been in your Bible the whole time, but you were told not to read it, so you weren't gonna see it. But I'm telling you to read it. And yes, I have my doctorate. Since some of us don't want to listen to nobody without degrees. The sons of Japheth. Who are Japheth's sons? Gomer. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Didn't you say something about Gomer? Mm-hmm. Ezekiel 38 verse 6 says Gomer. Who was Gomer? Son of Japheth. Wait. Japheth? Mm-hmm. Keep reading. Ashkenaz. Who? Ashkenaz. Who is Ashkenaz? Oh, he's also the son of Japheth. Wait a minute, that's verse 2, chapter 10. Ashkenaz is not the son of Shem. Ashkenaz is the son of Japheth. The sons of Gomer, go back to verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer. What's the name right after Gomer? Verse 2. Gomer and who? Put it in the chat. We're going to find out who Ezekiel's talking about. Once we find out who Ezekiel's talking about, we got to find out. We're finding that out in Genesis. Then we can understand who that is in the Revelation. The sons of Japheth is Gomer. Gomer is listed in verse 6. And Magog. And Magog is listed in verse 2 of Ezekiel chapter 38. Both of them are descendants of Japheth. And Mediah, and Javan, and Tubal. Wait, Tubal. That sounds familiar. Oh, that's also Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 2. Tubal. And Meshech, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rippah, and Targama. Wait, and who? Targama. Ain't that verse 6? Targama. I'm looking in the chat. I'm trying to see if anybody is understanding what the Moray is trying to show you. These European churches, these Japhetic religious institutions, been telling you that they don't know who this is. When all the while they've been knowing who this is. Every single one of these people that he mentions in that list, right? Number one, they are all European. The Gentiles. This ain't you, Zion. These are Gentiles. And according to the Bible, at the end of the days, the Gentiles will be ruling the world. They will have conquered our holy land and our promised land. They will be trampling that underfoot while we are exiled into the land of our captivity. And through the process of time, they would rule the world. Now, how does Ezekiel know that? When at this time, Gog, who is the prince of Magog, which represents, I'll get to that, the isles of the Gentiles or the heathen, watch. They were not the world superpower. Moray, there you go. You heard me. They weren't the world superpower at this time. How did he prophesy that? How did he see that? Babylon. Talk more. Help Israel today. Help your people all over the world. Babylon is Hamitic. The Babylonian captivity was another Hamitic captivity. The Babylonians primarily are related to Babylon, obviously. But Babylon was ruled primarily by Hamites. The most popular Babylonian, obviously, before it was called Babylon, was Nimrod. And there was Hamite rule in Babylon. Why? Because that land was primarily given to the sons of Ham. I told you, even our promised land is the land given to Canaan. Canaan is a Hamite. So we were Shemites living among Canaanites. Canaan is Noah's grandson by Ham. So what we experience as a people all the way through the Babylonian captivity was a particular type of captivity. When we were in captivity, it was primarily always under the hand of Hamites. If y'all understand that. Put a 200,000 in the chat. We went into captivity. Or we were in captivity, put into captivity by the Hamites. And then, whether or not you understand this or not, it's okay. You can study this later. Then we went in and out of captivity from Shemites, because there were some Shemites and Hamites who had mixed. And we ended up in captivity under Shemitic people and Hamitic people. But Ezekiel sees something that he said that the prophets saw. What was that? He said, I saw a Japhetic rule. I saw Japhetic leadership. I saw Japhetic world domination. And I can hear Daniel raising his hand. I said the same thing. I said the same thing, Zeke. I tried to tell them the same thing you saying. I told them that the head was Babylon, the neck was Assyrian chest. I gave them the whole list. I even told them about the Romans and everything. I told them it was going to start off Hamitic and end up Japhetic. You should have, Zeke, I told them the same thing. So guess who's in this list? Everybody we read in this list. Moray, you just talking. No, I'm not. Let's keep reading. Verse 5. Oh, no. And the sons of Javan, Lishah, or Lishah, Tarshish, Kittim, Dadanim. By these people, by these sons of Japheth, by these were the isles of the Gentiles. Divided. The Isles, yeah, like the British Isles. The Isles of the Gentiles. It's a land full of islands. It's in the north. It's the place that we call today Europe. And you Europeans, y'all in trouble for lying to the world. You said that these people was nobody but Russia and China. Or you tried to put it all on the Arab. No, we got maps now. The isles of the Gentiles were divided in their land. Everyone, watch this, after his tongue and after their families into their nations. That's how Europe was populated. Those are the names, those are the people, those are the lands. The sons of Cush was Sheba and Havilah and Sabat. We're going to get to that too. And Ramnah and Septica. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba and Dedan. We're going to get to that, watch. And Cush begot Nimrod. And I just say that. And he was the one who became a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahuwah. Even as it said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahuwah. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, which is what? Babylon. So, what's going on in Ezekiel talking about Gog and Magog? Moray, nobody knows. You a lie. Let me tell you what this one dictionary said. I should put this missionary on blast. I mean, this dictionary on blast, but I'm not. I'm just going to say what it said. It said that Magog is perhaps the land of Gog. Perhaps. No, you know that that's what Magog is because you wrote it in your translation. You said in the translation that Gog was the prince of Magog. Now all of a sudden in the dictionary you're saying perhaps it was. No, you heathen, you know it is. Perhaps the land of God. Ain't no perhaps. It is. The son of Japheth. The son of who? Japheth. The son of who? Japheth. Also his descendants. I'm not making it up. I printed this out of the dictionary. Also his descendants and their lands. Gog is who? Russia. That ain't what the Bible says. The Bible says this is Europe. This Japheth kids and the kids and their land. Same as God, perhaps. I said, oh my. So now we know who Gog is. Who else? Meshach. No, Tubal. Who's Tubal? Son of Japheth? Yes, you do know this. You Europeans, boy, y'all be lying. You wrote right here, you know exactly who Tubal is. Hebrew, Tubal. In Genesis 10, you even know where to find it. You heathens. Then why you didn't tell us? In the table of nations was the name of a son of Japheth. Oh, there you are again, Japheth. Son of Noah. He is also known to be the father of the Caucasians and Iberians. Of the who? Tubal was the name of the son of Japheth, the son of Noah. He is also known to be the father of Caucasian Iberians. Now, before you start writing the Moray and talking about what I'm saying, I need you to understand I'm reading. There's a big difference between reading and I'm saying it myself. I'm reading to you what they know this, but they told you. Don't nobody know who these people are. You liars. You know that the word Caucasian is a mixture of two words. One, it represents Caucasoid from the Caucasus Mountains, and the other represent Asia. Put the two together, you get Caucasian. Oh, but we ain't supposed to know that, huh? So who is working with God? The Caucasian. And what churches do they have us in today? The Caucasian churches. What churches are ruling the world today? Caucasian. What buildings? What priests? What monies? What lands? Who owns most of it? The Caucasian. Who saw this even before it happened? Ezekiel. Zeke said the next people that's going to vex Yah's people will be the Caucasians. And Daniel said the same thing. And who was in the Holy Land when our king was born? The Caucasians. Who was running the world? They are the ancestors of, look, wait a minute. They're the ancestors of the Gregorians. I didn't write none of this. I'm reading. I heard a brother say this. I said the same thing. Look, this is fair use. I just pull this down. Can I, on my channel, can I just be curious and go to a little Wikipedia source and just see what you heathens writing about each other? I don't think why should you feel funny because I'm reading what you wrote about you? You wrote this. I didn't write this, which means you know it though. That's the part that keeps bothering me. You act like you didn't notice until I researched it. Now I was like, oh yeah. Now watch, it happens every time. Soon as I preach it, then all of a sudden it gets exposed to the world. They can now see it. And now they're going to have to start trying to fix it in their churches. And I guarantee you, after this message, you're going to see all of the Christian churches try to have to fix this some kind of way. They're going to have to try to change it, fix it, cover it, or say, oh, yeah, that represents them, but that's not us. You a lie. So before it even starts to happen, I'm going on record exposing you. I know who you are. You are Magog. Gog is your leader, and you are the people of Magog. Because the people of Magog represent the people, all the people who follow your prince. And your prince is ruling all the lands, including, what other name? Including Meshach and Tubal. They're all going to be looked at as one. Modern scholarship, y'all still talking about this? You told us it had been done away with, that it was totally thrown away. Why? Oh, but you still studying it, huh? Israel, if you don't come up out of them false churches and false teachers and false prophets, you're not going to have an excuse. Because I'm telling you right now, what they're telling you not to look at and not to study and not to bother yourself with, they are looking at it every day and they're literally writing it down. Modern scholarship has identified biblical Tubal with Tabal, an Anatolian state in the region mentioned in the Assyrian sources. They know exactly where this is. They know exactly who these people are. Verse 6 said Gomer. Gomer? Oh, well, yeah, I better do this before I forget. If y'all understood that, where are we at? Put a 300,000. Before we even go to the next name, put a 300,000. Before we even get to the next name, let that name need to sink in. Put a 300,000. We're going to go to the next name. Gomer. Gomer. Hebrew. Gimel Mem Resh. Pronounced Gomer. Was the oldest son of Japheth. How you know that? You told us you didn't know who these people were. You lied. When we sit here read, we pulled down something offline and say, no, that's the oldest son of Japheth. How did you know that? Genesis chapter 10. No, you told us the Bible was done away with. The Old Testament wasn't valid. What is wrong with you? Now all of a sudden you going back to it, huh? How come you didn't teach that to us in the 400 years you had us in captivity here? Who these people are? Why is it taking me 400 years later to have to show the whole world and all of the land of our captors, all of the lands of our captivities? Why is it taking somebody like me, born in a little obscure town that ain't nobody even heard of in their life, to show Israel what's already in their Bible when you've been looking at it your whole life? You know who this is. He's the oldest son of Japheth. And the father, and the father, and the father of Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah, according to the table of nations in the Hebrew Bible. Oh, you done read our Bible. You done grabbed the Hebrew Bible, which is our book, and said, oh yeah, this is who this is. Sorry I didn't tell you, Nickus. You Nickus. We had y'all so busy talking about church anniversary and usher boards. We had y'all so worried about what you was going to get the pastor for his pastor annual day. You forgot about Gog and Magog, Gomer and Togarmah and all them. Huh? You didn't even realize you were taking part in Babylon, in the new Babylon, in what's called Mystery Babylon, which is the European. So busy celebrating everything that they do, eating whatever they eat, believing everything they say, walking in all of the wrong and wickedness of their ancestors, participating in the paganism that caused our people to be destroyed. And all we had to do was open the Bible for ourselves and go, we can't do this. Whoever these people are. Wait a minute. I know you heathens don't even, I know y'all not going to know who Targama is. No way. Togarma? Y'all even know who Togarma is? I can hear these heathens. Do y'all know who this is? You sneaky little heathens, you. Do you know who Togarma is? Moray, I can't believe you found out. You can't believe I found out. Why didn't you teach us this in Sunday school? I mean, you don't think we're going to show you that we are the beast? That we are the ultimate beast of the world? The system? But you couldn't tell? We beat you. We slaughtered you. We raped you. We put you in captivity and slavery. And you still believed what we told you? Joke's on you, not on us. You heathen. How did you do that? How did you capture our people and put them on a ship called the good ship Jesus? And after that, make the people on the ship worship Jesus. How'd you do that? You had satanic help. You was working for the devil, wasn't you? You even know who this is. We're going to get to that in a second. I'm already going to do this. Zion, I already know with the information I have left, I'm going to need at least 30 more minutes. If y'all can stay in the room for just 30 more minutes with the Moray, so I can make this clear to the whole world, would you be so kind as to put a 500,000? No, man, no. Just put 30 minutes more in your chat, please. Say 30 minutes more, Moray. We're going to give you 30 minutes more. If y'all could give Moray 30 minutes more. Because normally I try to cut off by right this time. But if I cut off now, we're not going to get the full picture. Just put 30 minutes more. Let me know that you're going to hang in here for 30 more minutes. Woo, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Somebody gave me 10 extra minutes. They said, going to take 40. Oh, I appreciate you, Zion. I appreciate you, Israelite. I'm going to need plenty of this well water to help my people see. Togarma, they got it written in Hebrew. They know how it's spelled in Hebrew. Is a figure in the table of nations. They know where to find it. In Genesis chapter 10, they got that exactly right. In the list of the descendants of Noah, they got Noah right. That represents the people known to the ancient Hebrew. Now, I thought y'all didn't know who these people were. You said, I just read it in the commentary. You said you don't know who these people are. Then I read it in another source. You say, oh, yeah, everybody know who these people are. They are among the descendants of Japheth. They are Anatolian. That is. Y'all know that too, huh? Well, you even got a picture of them? You even got pictures? You heathens, y'all got pictures of these people that you told us nobody really knows who they are. But the Moray, they went to a real small school, can somehow read the Bible and then see it and say, wait, somebody lying, and then all of a sudden expose it and you start laughing. I don't know how that nickel saw it. I don't know how that, and I'm saying nickel, Nickel. I don't know how that nickel saw it. Well, you did, whatever. I got them anyway. Them people so lost, they don't care. I know that's what you think about us, huh? You forgot about the remnant. You heathens forgot about the remnant. We waking up. Don't get that twisted. Your day is almost over. Medieval sources. Y'all got medieval sources on biblical people. Yes, we do, Moray. We're busted. Medieval sources. Wait, you trying to tell me that y'all got sources from the medieval times? Mm-hmm. They claim that Targamah was the legendary ancestors of several people of the Caucasus. Of the what? Caucasus. Of the what? It's in the Bible. This name and these people. You see it again, don't you? Zion, this ain't you and me. Where did these people? Let me continue. Including the Armenians and the Georgians, as well as several Turkic people. Wait. Wait a minute. You know who this is. Yeah. You know where they live. Mm-hmm. You know their language. Oh, of course. But you told us you didn't know. We just read the commentary that said you're not sure. You don't know. But now you're telling us you know. Which one is it? We know. Well, now my people gonna know. Now the remnant knows. All over the world. Why are you showing us this, Moray? Because one, I need to talk to you, the remnant. I need to talk to the remnant. Matter of fact, I better say this now. If you're caught up in this group and you're part of the remnant, you better get out. If you think that this group of people is your savior, you don't understand that this is your ancient arch enemy. These are the people who were participating in the slave trade. These are the people who use you, who stole your stuff, your menorah, your Bible, your land, and stole you as a person and used you to make them rich. And they told you they didn't know who they were, but they lied. They know who they are. The people of these nations are in confederate. That means they agreed to do it. And they agreed to do it under a European power. There you go, Moray. No, not there I go. If y'all still rolling with the Moray, put a 500,000. I asked you for a few minutes. Y'all said you would. Put a 500,000 in here. I appreciate it. This is right out of the Strongs. Now, look, I told y'all before, I really do research in different books. I understand that. And everybody doesn't have the books that I have, even though we put a lot of them on our resource pages. I understand that not everybody can have these resources. So sometimes I will use a simple resource just because I know everybody can get their hands on it. And then if you want to take it further, you can. But this is just like a surface resource. And that is the Strong's. Most people by now know that the Strong's Concordance has some definitions in it. It's not even close to being the best, but it's close enough to get you started in the right direction. I want you to see what Strong said. I'm gonna see if I can get this. all on the see if I can get this all on the in the screen. I tried to print it in such a way that you could get it. You see where it says Strong's Hebrew, then it has the number, then it has Strong's Concordance, then it has Magog. You see that? Now it says from Gog, Magog, a son of Japheth. So you see it again, right? Don't have to, this is not something that, this is not like mysterious here. This is the truth. But I want to show you something that this heathen confessed about the sons of Japheth. I want to show you something that's in here that he confessed. I'm highlighting it live and on camera so that you won't think I did this ahead of time. I showed it to you first. This ain't no trickeration. This is all plain and right in online, live. What does that say? Also, look, somebody already beat me to it. Barbarous nation. Barbarous. Are you telling me that the sons of Japheth are the ones that we know as the barbarians? He said, yeah. Hold on. Are you, wait, let me think back. When I was a kid, y'all had movies out about the barbarians. We've been showing you who the barbarians are. But every time we saw barbarians, primarily what we saw was heathens, right? Like they were Japheth. Of course, they're the barbarians. We wrote it. Sons of Japheth. No. I mean, I thought barbarian just meant a person who was uncivilized. It does. So the sons of Japheth were uncivilized. Of course. They're in the mountains. They lived in caves and stuff. They ate anything. They drank blood. No, don't you know your history? Haven't you read the history of these barbarians? How they lived? How they ate? The filth, the squalor, how many of them didn't want to bathe and carrying on, and how they had a bloodlust for war, crime, and barbarian. And how they especially hated the children of Yah. It got so bad that the Greek and Romans, who were the original barbarians, the Greeks and the Romans were the barbarians first. And then they began to wreak havoc in the world, all over the world, in some of the most barbaric behavior. It was so barbaric. And this is where I want to get to Moses. Moses said that they were so barbaric, we had never seen that kind of barbarism. They had no regard for the old or the young. They were so barbaric that we were powerless against them. You have not met a barbarian like that. Y'all don't have no idea. And then we keep reading, we find out in Isaiah and Jeremiah, we found out that Yah was going to allow us to be turned over to the worst of the heathen. And we thought that was Babylon. But no, Ezekiel said, Babylon wasn't the worst. It was bad now. Whoa, you Babylonians in trouble. He said, but you ain't seen nothing until you become captive of these barbarians. These are barbarians. These sons of Japheth are the real, these ain't no makeup cartoon barbarian. These are the real barbarians. These are the people who came in and destroyed lands, killed everybody in the villages, hung their heads on poles, worshiped the devil, drank blood out of skulls and everything that, watch this, not the Moray, they tell on themselves. It's in every history book. You have to believe me. They are proud of it. They call themselves the barbarians. Moray, you lying. Okay. I'm lying. People ask, what is a barbarian? A person from an alien land, culture, or group believed to be inferior, uncivilized, or violent. Where are the barbarians from? I know. You gotta see one thing you're gonna learn about the Moray. I'm not getting ready to make a statement if I can't back it up. What country are barbarians from? They were people from Central and Northern Europe. Unfortunately, barbarian is a biased term. Oh, of course it is. In the 5th century, they invaded the declining Roman Empire. Okay, so wait, hold on. The Romans and the Greeks were the first barbarians, though. But now that they became in power, they started calling everybody else barbarians. So when the so-called barbarians decided that they didn't want to be under Roman control anymore, now the Romans called them barbarians. But whoever it is, whether it's the ones that don't want Roman rule no more, or the ones that when Rome was taking over, they're both barbarians. And guess what? They all Europeans. I know you're not going no further. Oh, I'm out here now. Might as well just keep rolling. 8 famous barbarians. Moray, going with that. I think we got the point. No. You said you was going to stay in here 30 more minutes. 8 famous barbarians. Leaders. Y'all done wrote these. You done wrote your barbarian. They famous. Mm-hmm. How you say that? Arminus. Born to noble family of the German. He's a German barbarian? Around 18 BC. Oh, that's around right around the time of our king. Known in Germany as Herman, was plucked from his home by the Romans as a boy and served under the Roman army. And you got his whole thing. Ambushed and massacred 3 Roman legions under whatever, blah, blah, blah. After that defeat, man, this dude went crazy. There he is. Boudica? You famous. You a famous barbarian. Oh, yes. Female barbarian. European. You think I wrote this article? You think I took these pictures? Attila the Hun. Attila. Oh, yes. Make sure you write me in there. I'm a barbarian too. Famous. Genseric. Everyone says Europe. Odoacer. Clovis. Wait a minute, we got a Clovis out here in California. Uh-oh. Named after a barbarian. Maybe that's why they was burning crosses when I first moved to Fresno in Clovis. That must be why they told us, hey man, this is 50, 40 some years ago, I moved up here. They said, hey man, you got to stay out of Clovis after a particular amount of time. Cause man, they'll run you out of some area. They don't like Negroes. They don't like nickels. Clovis? Oh, because they named after a barbarian. They got them all in here. Theodoric, the great king of the Ostrogoths. Oh, you didn't want me to tell the whole world who the barbarians was, huh? Who Gog is, and Magog, and all of his followers. They're the barbarians. The sons of Japheth became barbaric. The sons of Japheth fell into demonic worship, satanic worship. The sons of Japheth became barbarians. Now, there's reasons for it, but their way of life this very day is still barbaric at its root. When you can see resources in a land and then just go into that place and kill, rape, and maim everybody there. And then after, it's not enough just to kill them. You got to rape them and you got to do all that. Then after all of that, then steal their land and then steal all the resources and then tell them they can't come back. You're a barbarian. That's barbaric. And you're proud of it. You're proud of being a barbarian. And I'm trying to tell Israel, one of our problems is we've been living among barbarians so long that many of us are starting to take on that barbarian type of lifestyle. That's where the hood and the ghettos and the traps and the gangs and stuff, that's where they get it from. That's a barbaric behavior. When you look in the hoods today and in the traps and on the streets and in the inner cities and all that, and you see the way they live and the way they think and the way they act and how there's murder and crime and theft and all of that going on like all the time, right? You're looking at that is barbarian behavior. And that's not our natural behavior. That's a learned behavior. They're going to barbarians. Look at the topic. Real ancient barbarian. They're showing themselves. This is Gog and Magog. This is Gog, the leader of the Europeans, and then all the others. I'm not done though. Because the Bible says that in verse 5, he says, in Ezekiel 38, verse 5, he says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya will join you. How did Ezekiel know that the Hamite was going to participate in the slave trade with the European, under European rule and leadership, that the Hamite would participate in the slave trade of us? How did Ezekiel know that? When he was still in captivity himself in Babylon, how could he see that the power of Europe would be so strong in the world. The European barbarian powers would be so strong and prevalent that they would actually employ Hamite nations near to us to put us in captivity. He said it won't just be Japheth. Japheth will also, according to verse 5, he will have Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya join in. And again, it is because of this union between the powers of the world, off of the backs of us, that they have become the powerhouse of the world. Here's some more pictures of barbarians for the world to see. And don't say I did it. Don't say, Moray, you call them barbarians. No, they call themselves that. So I don't say I'm doing it. I'm just reading what they wrote. The barbarians did this to us. You have to be a barbarian to do this. A normal civilized person that's thinking and living according to Torah would never take us and put us on ships like this and then draw pictures and cutouts. You know who does this kind of behavior to humans? Barbarians. Magog. The people. The descendants of Japheth, that according to their own writings are barbarians. Here they are. What does that say here? Jesus saves. And look at these barbarians. You see them? I'm going to show y'all something. The other day, Joy wrote me and sent me a song. I'm going to see if I can play it. I can't show it because they'll turn my YouTube channel off because, of course, I have to be able to show YouTube. So you need to go to her site, Joy Lester, and type in this word, "you lied." I don't have the, like I said, I can't play the video, but I can try to play the song. Let's see here. We're going to take a little breather right now. I'm just going to put up some slides. This is Joy Lester. She gave me permission to talk about this, to play it. Toda Rabah. Go to her site and subscribe.
Taken on a ship, taken as a slave. You said we were the ones who were depraved, but it was you took us on the good ship, Jesus, which you told me was my savior, but my savior is Yahushua HaMashiach, the one who died for me. You didn't want us to find out who we are. Didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. That we are the chosen ones. You didn't want us to find out who we are. You didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. So you lied to us. Took our name from us, stole our identity. Stole our language, you didn't want us to write or read. Now our eyes are wide open and we can see. Shot us, killed us, raped us, robbed us, sold us into slavery, threw us into the Atlantic, left us for dead, drug us behind the horses and flogged us, even raped our men. Book breaking, sex bomb, lynched us and forced us to breastfeed your babies, not to mention the devil's punch bowl, which you tried to erase from history. Everything we learned, we must unlearn, for the truth will set you free. Come on now, from the slave mentality, we are not a religion but a nation. Royal priesthood, got a special possession that you may declare the praises of him who brought you out of darkness into his marvelous light. You didn't want us to find out who we are. You didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. That we are the chosen ones. You didn't want us to find out who we are. You didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. That we are the chosen
You lied, you Europeans. This whole time. You're Gog. You're Magog. You're Meshach. Tubal and Gomer. You're the one who was behind Persia and Ethiopia and Libya as they persecuted the very house of Israel, took us into captivity, sold us. You're the one who went throughout all the world as the beast. And you're the ones who did who lived the barbarian life and taught us to be barbarians. You're the one who enslaved us, shackled us. And all the while we were asking about this, and you kept saying, you didn't know who these people are. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. And this whole time you've been lying. You told us, don't read the Old Testament. But I didn't listen. I read it. I found out who you are and who you still are this very day. And I want to talk to all of you that's still a part of that, or you might say, I didn't do that. That was my grandpa. You still living and enjoying the wealth that was amassed on the back, from the back of our ancestors. But you can repent. And that's why this message is going forth. This message is going forth to help you see that the end of this and these nations, the end is near, and it ends with this whole system being destroyed. Told Rabbah for joy for telling us in song how they lied. And everybody in here should go support her and subscribe to the channel and download the music. I think I'm going to end this message today by just reading. I told you already, verse 6, Gomer and all his armies, Ezekiel 38, will also join you, along with the armies of Beth Togarmah from the distant north, and many others, the European nations. Get ready. Be prepared. Keep all the armies around you mobilized and take command of them. Verse 8, a long time from now. Remember, Ezekiel's writing this during the Babylonian captivity. Look what he says. A long time from now, you will be called into action, you evil, barbarous nation. In the distant future, you will swoop down on the land of Israel, which will be enjoying peace, which will be doing what? Verse 8, which will be enjoying peace. That is the 1,000-year reign. That's the millennium. After recovering from war, and after its people have returned from many lands to the mountains of Israel, that's the return. When we all get in the land, we will be there. As I said in the introduction, we will have been there when the mountains have become green again and the lands have been fertile. It is back in the land of milk and honey, and we've come out of the many lands. That's verse 8. To the mountains of Israel. Verse 9. You and your allies, a vast and awesome army, will roll down on them like a storm and cover the land like a cloud. What did John say in the book of the Revelation? And shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters. Oh, yeah. And by the time John writes that, you're not just in the north anymore. Now you have spread to the four corners of the earth. Gog and Magog, same people. To gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth to compass the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. Exactly what he says. You and your allies, a vast, awesome army, will roll down on them like a storm and cover the land like a cloud. This is what the sovereign Yahuwah says. At that time, evil thoughts will come into your mind. What? Evil thoughts will come into your mind. When? At that time. At what time? Revelation chapter 20, verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan will be loosed out of his prison and shall go out and deceive the nations. Satan is doing this. He will put it into your mind. Yah will let Satan out to put this into your mind. Revelation said this is how it happens. And you will devise a wicked scheme. I'm reading out the New Living Translation, you Southern Baptists. You Church of God in Christ. You apostolic, you Catholic. I'm reading out your translation. Why? Because I know you wrote this, which means I know you know it. That you're not going to get up and say Moray is teaching the truth and we need to repent. No, you're going to keep pushing them lies to your own destruction. Verse 10 again. And you will devise a wicked scheme. What's your scheme? And shall go out and deceive the nations. Here's a wicked scheme of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle. What? The wicked scheme is that you ain't going to be able to stand that righteous rule. In 1,000 years, not being able to do no war no more. No more killing. No more stealing. No more gang violence. No more A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z plus behavior. No more immorality. No more. Ain't going to be no more blue rags, red rags, gang violence. Ain't going to be no more. You can forget it. There won't be no other gods. There won't be no taking his name in vain. Ain't going to be no more calling us. You ain't going to be able to take that, huh? No more stealing, no more killing, no more committing adultery, no more dishonoring parents. They were for 1,000 years. You ain't gonna be able to covet nothing. So when this wicked scheme comes, you're gonna like it. The devil is gonna convince the leader that they don't have to, that they can take Israel. Let's see. Verse 11, you will say, this is the scheme. Israel is unprotected. Israel is an unprotected land. Remember, they ain't gonna need no fences and walls. Well, we got a Mashiach. But you ain't gonna see it. You're gonna think we just out there. You will say Israel is an unprotected land filled with unwalled villages. I will march against her and destroy these people. Really? Really? That's what the devil done told you could do? You're gonna believe it, huh? Who live in such confidence. I will go to those formerly desolate cities, which are now filled with people who have returned from what? From exile. Verse 12. Ezekiel chapter 38. Verse 12. To take a spoil, I'm reading out of King James, and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon desolate places that are now inhabited, upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, and that dwell in the midst of the land. that are gathered out the nations. That's us. You say, I'm gonna capture vast amount of plunder, for the people are rich with livestock. Of course we are. Y'all gave it all back. And other possessions now. They think the whole world revolves around them. Oh, yes. That's what you're gonna believe. The devil gonna tell you, you know what, they over in the hood, they think the whole world revolves around them. Mm-hmm. Of course. Now watch these names. Sheba, didn't we read that in Genesis chapter 10? I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. Didn't we read it? Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish. Oh, so it's all coming back, right? They're going to ask, do you really think the armies you have gathered can rob them of their silver and gold? Do you really think you can drive away their livestock to seize their goods and carry off plunder? Verse 14, therefore, son of man, prophesy against God. Tell the Europeans. Tell the barbarians and the sons and daughters of barbarians. Give them this message from the sovereign Yahweh. When my people are living in peace in their land, then you're going to rouse yourself. You will come down from your homeland in the distant north. In the distant what? In the distant north. You know good and well who that is. That's you. With your vast cavalry and your mighty army, you will attack my people Israel. Oh, you ain't gonna be able to stand it. Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to stand it. Having to be in our court for 1,000 years. No more killing. No more warmongering. No more homongering. You ain't gonna be able to stand it. Everything's gonna be first among equal. You ain't gonna be able to stand it. Because we ain't gonna be playing. Swift justice and righteousness and peace. It's going to drive you crazy, huh? Okay. You will attack my people. Wait a minute, hold on. With cavalry, with your mighty army, and you will attack my people, covering their land like a cloud. At that time, what time? You heathens. Answer that. In the distant future. That's now. That's this time. I will bring against my land as everyone watches, and my holiness will be displayed by what happens to you, Gog. You're going to know who Yah really is, Gog. You're going to know who Yehoshua really is, Gog. All that fake Caesar Borgia and false images, Gog, you know that Yah is really your enemy, and you know it. And then all the nations will know that I am Yahuwah. Wait a minute. I didn't write this. This is what the sovereign Yahuwah asked. Are you the one I was talking about long ago? Let me highlight that. This is what I told y'all in the beginning of the sermon. Are you the one I was talking about long ago when I announced through Israel's prophet that in the future I would bring you against my people? Who is that he said I'm gonna bring afar off, whose language you will not know? That's Deuteronomy chapter 28. He said, I told my people I was gonna bring you against them. That's Deuteronomy chapter 28. And how did we know that? Because Abraham in Genesis chapter, 15, he said that he was horrified because his people was going to have to be in captivity for 400 years. But after the 400 years, Yah said, I'm going to judge them. I'm going to judge those nations. Are you? This is what the sovereign Yah asked. Are you the one I was talking about long ago? Oh, yeah, you is, huh? Yes, you are. You are the one that Yah, I'm talking to you, Gog and Magog, to this world. You are the one that Yah said, I'm preserving them for me. I'm preserving them and letting them stay because they are reserved for us for a special kind of punishment. They're going through a special kind of judgment. Oh, believe that. I told the people I'm the one prophesied I would bring you against my people. But this is what the sovereign Yahweh says. When Gog invades the land of Israel, my fury will boil over. Verse 18. You thought he was blessing you when he allowed you to take us into captivity, when you ran us out of our land and stole all our stuff, and when you had the Arabians and the Hamites put us into captivity. You thought Yah was blessing you. You thought Yah was blessing you when you built them slave ships and put our ancestors on them and then carried them across the passage into South America, Central America, North America, and the islands, and into Europe, and then spread us all over the nation to make those nations rich beyond measure off of us, of which you still enjoying the spoils of war and the profits off of our back to this very day. You the people have no regard for the old or the young. You the ones. He said, you thought you was being blessed when you came to the Americas and called the people there savages, which justified you killing them and taking their land, which was also my land. And you heathens who came over here, we read something about you too in your own history books. Your own people, you heathens, listen to me. Your own people wrote in the books that the people that founded America were the barbarous type. The people who founded this country. You wrote it in your own books. I don't have to say it. They didn't bring over the nobility. Many of the people that came here from Europe was crooks, thieves, robbers, rapists, murderers, ruthless men. Many of them had escaped prison, made up degrees and made up name when they got here, but massacred the people. The truth is coming out. Only barbarians would see thousands of people, women and children, and burn them, kill them, give them diseases, take their land. He said, you said the whole time, God was blessing you. God blessed us to have this land. And then you Europeans had nerve to start calling yourself American. You're not Americans, you're Europeans living in the Americas. Just like you're not an African, you're a European living in Africa. You're not an Australian, you're a European living in Australia. Why can't you just be who you are, a European? No, now you claiming that you the American and that the American people are the savages. My ancestors. But I'm supposed to just take that and forget all about it. No, I'm reading the Bible. When you did that, it wasn't no God bless America. That's not what happened. His fury was boiling over when you did that. And in my jealousy and blazing anger, I promise a mighty shaking of the land of Israel on that day. All the living things, the fish in the sea, the birds of the sky, the animals of the field, the small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people of the earth will quake in terror at my presence. What? You heard me. Whole world, including the animal kingdom, when my presence. Why? Because as soon as my presence comes, it's all going to be revealed. What are you talking about? Soon as the visible image of the invisible Yah is revealed, y'all gonna be in trouble. Let's continue. Read that again. All living things, the sea, the birds of the sky, the animals of the field, and the small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people on earth will quake in terror at my presence. Mountains will be thrown down, cliffs will crumble, walls will fall down to the earth. Don't that sound like Revelation chapter 6? Oh, yeah, Moray, you bringing it all together. Oh, yes. He said, the kings of the earth, the mighty men, he said, they're going to be talking to the rocks, the mountains, telling them about fall on us, and the mountains hide us. From who? The face of the Lamb. Mm-hmm. John wasn't just making that up, was he? Listen to me, Israel. John wasn't making that up. John was interpreting Ezekiel, who was interpreting Isaiah, who was interpreting Moses, who was interpreting Abraham. Verse 21, I will summon the sword against you on all the hills of Israel, saith the sovereign Yahuwah. Your men will turn their swords against each other. He said, oh, yeah, it's going to be so bad. They're going to start fighting each other. What is that called? Beast wars. I will punish you and your armies with disease and bloodshed. Why? Because that's how you punished us. With what? Diseases and bloodshed. I will send torrential rains, hailstone, fire. Wait. Didn't the Revelation say he's going to he's going to win this last battle with fire? Then, so he must have got that from Ezekiel. I told you. I came in the room to show the truth. And burning sulfur. In this way, I will show my greatness and holiness. And again, I'm reading from a new translation that was written primarily by so-called Baptist scholars. Why? To show the world that they know. They just lying to you, acting like they don't. This is John word for word. This is the Revelation word for word. In this way, I will show my greatness and holiness, and I will make myself known to all the nations of the world. Then they will know that I am Yahuwah. Ezekiel 39, verse 1. Put it all on one video, Moray. Son of man, prophesy against God. Huh? You heard me. Let's break it down even farther. Who's Gog now? Europe and the Europeans. We don't have to ask that no more. That question has been solved. They're the sons of Japheth. We know where they are and where they live. And I pulled this map down because you heathens even know exactly where every city is he's talking about. Because you not only wrote it down, you color-coded it. You color-coded where every one of these people are. You got red for the sons of Japheth. You got yellow for the sons of Ham, and you got blue for the sons of Shem. You know exactly what this prophecy is about and who it's about. You've been lying. So I'm here to tell the truth to my people. Son of man, prophesy against God. Give him this message from Yah. Okay, well, since I am now going to tell you what Ezekiel told you, because I got to help my people see it. This is what Yah says to you. You better listen. This is your Bible. And everybody in the room, you got this Bible. And even you, those of you from Japheth, you and Ham, y'all got this same Bible. Open it. Don't be afraid to read. Because the good news about this, the only good news is you can come out of that. You don't have to die. Just because your nation is slated to try to fight Yah and they're gonna lose. You can get out. And you Israelites ain't got no business in there in the first place. Let me tell you what Yah has said. And listen, once again, I'm reading it, but I didn't write this. This is how the New Living Translation, if you get one of those Bibles, look in the front of it and see who worked on the translation. You can read it. They're going to tell you the authors or the people who worked on the translation, and you're going to find out primarily this come up out of Baptist people. And all you Southern Baptists watching me and everybody around the world, when you understand that even your own people lying to you, hopefully you come out before it's everlasting too late and try to reach out and grab the, the hem of an Israelite and say, hey, we're going with you. I don't want to die with Babylon. I don't want to die with these people. I don't want to die with these enemies of Yah. Yah says to God, I'm your enemy, O Gog. Read it again. I'm your enemy, O Gog. Read it again. I'm your enemy, O Gog. Who said that? Yah said it. What did Yah say? I'm your enemy. You're not worshiping Yah. He's your enemy. Ruler of nations. Ruler of the nations of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn you around and drive you toward the mountains of Israel, bringing you from the distant north, Europe. I will knock the bow from your left hand and the arrows from your right hand and leave you helpless. And you and your army and your allies will all die in the mountains. I didn't write none of this. I'm just reading it. I will feed you to the vultures and the wild animals. You will fall in the open fields, for I have spoken it, saith the sovereign Yahuwah, and I will rain down fire. There it is again. On Magog. Revelation chapter 20. Verse 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from Yah out of heaven and devoured them. Verse 6. And I will rain down fire on Magog and on all your allies who live safely on the coast. Then they will know that I am Yahuwah. In this way, I will make known my holy name among my people. Why? Because they covered his name 7,000 times in that holy Bible that was written in English. They wrote the Lord in the place of Yahuwah. He said, don't worry about that. That's my name. I'm going to put my name back out there. The whole world going to know my name. They're going to be calling on the name of Yah. Believe that. In this way, I'll make my holy name known among my people. That also means his reputation. Israel. And I will not let anyone bring shame on it. And the nations, too, will know that I am Yahuwah. The Holy One of who? The Holy One of who? Of Japheth, of Gog, of Magog, of Tubal, of Meshach, Togoma, of Togama, Gomar. No. Who is he the Elohim of? Israel. Us. He's our Elohim. And one day you're going to know it. That day of judgment will come, saith the sovereign Yahuwah. Everything will happen just like I declared it. That's what Yah said. That's verse That's verse 8 of Ezekiel 39, written in the New Living Translation. Then the people in the towns of Israel will go out quickly and pick up small and large shields and bows and arrows and javelins and spears and will use them for fuel. For what? Fuel. No, Moray. What? I didn't write this. How are they going to use that for fuel? All these great armies. No. Y'all missed it. You missed it. Ain't no more battleships. All them ships and airplanes, aircraft carriers, submarines, all them ballistic missiles, all them tomahawks and everything they got. Remember, that all been melted down already. That's all been turned into shovels and rakes, plows and hoes. Them pruning hooks now. Them are garden tools now. So the devil is going to go to the European after we have lived in shalom. They're going to get this European to take wood. Now, you know you got to be deceived upon deceived if you couldn't whoop our king with all of your military might, and he still set up his kingdom for 1,000 years. What makes you think that you can? Well, that devil gonna get y'all to think that you can come against him with the primitive weapons, because these Europeans, they can make a weapon out of anything. So they're gonna be acting like they making a shovel, but they trying to really make a spear. See, we're gonna be watching them. We're gonna think, how y'all doing out there making them? Oh, we doing all right, master. We fine. And that the whole time they're gonna be making swords and stuff, and shields and armor and chariots. We're gonna think they using that to pull stuff. But the devil told them, hey, we can take it. And y'all gonna believe it. Telling you can't take him, but you're gonna try. But you're gonna fall in the open field. He said, and I've spoken it, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna rain down fire on Magog and all your allies who live on the coast, and they'll know that I'm Yah. In this way, I'll make my holy name among the people of Israel. I will not let anyone bring shame on. And the nations too will know that I am Yahuwah. Oh, verse 8. That day will come, says Yahuwah. Everything will happen just as I declared it. Then the people of the towns of Israel will go up and pick up your small and large shields, your bow and arrows, javelins and spears. So that's what you're going to make, huh? And we're going to use that for fuel. As a matter of fact, there's going to be enough of that to last us about 7 years. It's going to be so much wood already cut down for us because of this war for 7 years. We ain't going to have to even, no, we got enough wood just from that to do what? Use for fuel. That's in the Bible and in the translation that y'all wrote. They won't need to cut down wood from fields or forests, for these weapons will give them all the fuel they need. They will plunder those who plundered them. Oh, my. Is that really in the Bible? Oh, yes. They're going to take everything from those who took everything from them. And they will rob those who plan to rob them. And I will make a vast graveyard for God. A what? A graveyard. A what? A graveyard. And his hordes. Where? In the valley of travelers, east of the Dead Sea, on that side of the Dead Sea, east side. Y'all know what that is, those of you who study geography. I will block the way of those who travel there, and they will change the name of the place to the valley of Gog's hordes. it will take 7 months for the people of Israel to bury the bodies and clean the land. 7 months. Everyone in Israel will help. Listen, all you Israelites, listen to me. We all got to help clean the land. For it will be a glorious victory for Israel when I demonstrate my glory on that day, saith Yahuwah. After 7 months, teams of men will be appointed to search the land for skeletons. Make sure we get them all so that the land will be made clean again. And whenever bones are found, a marker will be set up. So the burial crews will take them to be buried in the valley of Gog's hordes. There will be a town there named Hamonah, which means horde. And so the land will finally be cleansed. And now, son of man, this is what the sovereign Yahuwah says. Call the birds. What? You heard me? Call them. That sounds like Revelation chapter 19. It is. Call them. What do you want me to tell them? Tell them, come gather together for my great sacrificial feast. Come on, y'all. Birds from everywhere, far and near. Everybody, all y'all birds, all the buzzards, come on now. Come down to the mountains of Israel. Got a whole lot of flesh for you to eat. And a lot of blood to drink. Eat the flesh of mighty men. Wait. The bird? Why? Because they left our bodies out there on the ground. You remember the punch bowl? You remember the massacres and the slaughters? The unmarked graves? Where the birds of the air ate our flesh. You remember the sugarcane fields and the cotton fields? Do you remember the tobacco fields? You remember? Remember? Well, it flips at the end. Eat the flesh of mighty men and drink the blood of princes. And this is how I want you to do it. Eat it like they were rams and lambs and goats and bulls. All fattened animals from Bashan. In other words, animals, enjoy yourself. Matter of fact, gorge yourself with flesh. Eat it, man, until you just glutted. Full, can't eat no more. And you want some more of this king's flesh? Man, I can't take another bite. These birds gonna be like, man, I can't eat nothing. Man. You sure? We got some princes and princesses and some kings and some queens out here. I mean, there's a whole lot, man. We ain't even started eating. Man, come on now, you sure? No, I can't do it. I'm full. You know what? Then just drink till you get drunk off the blood of these slain. This is a sacrificial feast that I have prepared for you. 20, verse 20. Feast at my banquet table. Feast on horses and charioteers. Mighty men and all kind of valiant warriors, say Yahweh. In other words, feast on them barbarians who were able to convince even some of the Hamites to participate with them in trying to take Israel. In this way, I will demonstrate my glory to the nations. Everyone will see the punishment I have inflicted on them and the power of my fist of your what? You heard me. This is how the world gonna know the power of my fist when I strike. See, we've already seen the power of your fist, of the fist of the heathen, of the fist of the European. And let me tell you something. He ain't no joke with his fist. I was telling y'all that before. His weapons of war are on a level that only you and we could never imagine. But Yah says, wait till he see my fist. He gonna understand what real power is all about. And from that time on, the people of Israel will know that I am Yahuwah their Elohim. They're going to know that they know that they know that they know. The nations will then know why. Now, I'm closing with this. This is my last part. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. I'm just going to read it. And the nations will then know why Israel was sent away to exile. Let me underline that and put that on the screen. And if y'all could see that with me, would you put an 800,000 in this chat? We got to get out. But I want to show you that's not my writing. This is the Bible. Israel was sent away to exile. In the Bible, Yah tells us that he was a little displeased with Israel and sent them away out of the land. He said, but the heathen furthered the affliction. I mean, it's bad enough we had to get out of our own land, but then the heathen furthered the affliction. So we're going to find out again. The nations will then know why Israel was sent away into exile. It was punishment for sin. Yes, we turned our back on him. That's why we ended up in captivity. That's why we were in exile. Why? For they were unfaithful to their God. They were unfaithful to their Elohim. We were unfaithful to our Elohim. Therefore, I turned away from them and let their enemies destroy them. Deuteronomy. Well, actually Genesis, Deuteronomy, the Psalms, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel right now. He said, I turned my back on them. That's why. And I only turned my back on them because it was a punishment for their sins. I turned away from them and let their enemies destroy them. I turned my face away and punished them because of their defilement and their sins. Oh, and then these so-called New Testament churches telling people that the law been done away with and you ain't got to keep the law. And that's the reason why we're in captivity in the first place, because of sin. What is sin? The transgression of the law. He's like, that's the reason that they ended up in the, and then you following these heathens teaching you that ungodly teaching of the Bible. When Yah is telling you why we ended up in captivity, it's because of sin. Now they tell you sin don't matter. Verse 25. So now, this is what the sovereign Yahuwah says. I will end. Now watch this word. The captivity of my people. I'm going to stop the captivity. I'm going to end it. That's what Yah said. Europeans ain't going to be able to stop that when he does that. He's not only going to stop the captivity, he's going to bring his captives home. I will have mercy on all Israel, for I jealously guard my holy reputation. They will accept responsibility for their past. You hear that? I know y'all gonna say, well, what about what they did? They're gonna wake up to it and say, I know it was terrible and it was our fault. For their past shame and unfaithfulness, and they will come home to live in peace. Yes, we will. We're coming home to live in shalom. Where? In our own land. Because we're not home. We're in the land of our captors now. One day we're going back home to live in our own land with no one to bother them. Why? Because everybody bothers us now. Everybody bothers us wherever we go. They bother us. And one day they ain't going to bother us no more. We're going home. When I bring them home from the islands, verse 27. When I bring them home from the lands of their enemies, where are we now? In the lands of our enemies. We are in the land of the place of the people that brought us here and put us in captivity. But he's going to bring us home from here. I will display my holiness among them for all nations to see. Then my people will know that I am Yahuwah, their Elohim, because I sent them away to exile and brought them home again. I will leave none of my people behind. That's the remnant, by the way. Don't ever get that mistaken. His remnant is his people. And I will never again turn my face from them. For I will pour out of my ruach upon the people of Israel. I, the sovereign Yahuwah, have spoken it.
Hallelujah.
Did we tell the world?
Glory, hallelujah.
Did they see it? Did the world see it? Zion, did you see it?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Gog, Magog, Mystery Babylon, the beast, the beast religion, the false prophet. All of those biblical people are Europeans. And they get other nations to join them against us. That's why they can enslave you and go to church. Beat you and go to church. Put you in slavery and go to church. And give everybody in the world reparation for anything that they think they need to do. They will help repair it, right? Through reparation. Except you. Except me. And every time they mention it, everybody gets so mad. No, not the Nika, not them. Don't give them nothing. That beast start coming up out of them. And some of you stepping bitches, the beast start coming out of you too. But now that you know who God, Magog, Tubal, Shat, Gomer, Persia, I showed you all of them. You can come away from it now. Now that your eyes are open, you can turn to Yah. And again, all of you heathens, hear me. You too can. You also have the ability to renounce that foolishness and come out. You can. I know there's some Israelites don't believe you can. They ain't got to be corrected one day. You can. You can be saved. Believe it. But you have to denounce. You got to denounce the devil. You got to be done with Babylon, done with Gog and Magog. You got to be finished with that. You got to turn to Yah. Humble yourself. You're going to have to latch home to Israel. But all I got to say is hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Why? Because in the end, What'd you say, Moray? In the end, the end. In the end, what? We win. Hey, we win. Hey, in the end. Oh, hey, we win. We win. We win. Our King is victorious. Our nation is redeemed. Our enemies destroyed. Back in our own land, we win. Under our own fig tree, we win. Drinking wine from our own vine, we win. Every day is Shabbat. We win. Our King is worshipped. We win. Everybody love everybody. We win. I got a robe and you got a robe and all of the out children got a robe. We win. I got shoes and you got shoes and all of y'all children got shoes. We win. Streets of gold. We win. Gates of pearl. We win. 12 foundations to our city. We win. Jasper, Sonics, Taldosia, Onyx. We win. Life-giving trees. Leaves good for the healing of a nation. We win. Water so clear we can see the crystals on the bottom. We win. No more sickness. We win. No more death. We win. Every tear wiped from our crying eyes. We win. We win. We win. That's how it ends. We win. Well, who loses? God. Magog, Persia, Libya, Ophir, everybody else but us. If I was you, I'd come on before it's too late. And I'd get on the winning side. Hallelujah. 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 Woo, I got to go. But I want the world to know. If you heard this message, read along. I know it was long, but if you took notes, you could see that everything I said here was backed up by scripture and also by research. You don't have to die in your sin. You can come out. You can be saved. You can win too. Because I read the record. And the record is all the way down to the final battle. God and Magog are destroyed. Satan is thrown into the lake of fire with his false church and his false government. And we are victorious in our King. Hallelujah. Put a 1 million in here if you know we win. If these messages are helping you, support the ark. Pray for us. We pray for you. The final battle, we win. Hey, how y'all fight? Oh, fire coming from you. Yeah. Y'all gonna do it. I'm so grateful. So grateful. We win, Zion. Now it is.